Hi everybody, I'm Louise from AbSafe, and today I'm going to introduce you to somebody called Campbell Scott. And thank you, Campbell, for joining us today. I know that it's been a bit of a strange time, so I wonder if you could tell people who are watching this video what you do.
Hello, thank you very much. No worries, Louise. So my name's Campbell, yes, and I've got a company called Scott Surf down at Aberdeen Beachfront, where I do surf lessons out in the North Sea. I know it's not cold, don't worry, I've got all the kit that provides it for being warm. And I also do stand-up paddleboarding up the river for all ages. So from surfing, I can get you in the water from a 6-year-old with an adult. And if you want to go in from 8-year-old onwards, you don't need an adult. So you get water safety, you get surfing, you get to enjoy what we've got right in front of our own doorstep, which is fantastic, amazing place to be. So yes, that's what I do for a living.
I mean, that's amazing, but can I just clarify the coldness? So how come your wetsuits are warm? Because that sometimes will put people off, wouldn't it? But
yes, definitely. It's one of the questions. People say, oh, I don't want to get in there because it's too cold, and then they're hugely surprised. So I had a chap on Saturday in just gone by this weekend, and he's from Crete, and he's never experienced getting into the North Sea. He wanted to go for a surf. He does surf. So he took out one of my 5mm wetsuits. We use neoprene wetsuits. So it's with gloves, with a hood, and with boots. And what it does, when you say a wetsuit, it starts to slowly absorb water. So when you walk in, you don't suddenly get a shock. Oh my goodness, it's filling up with water. It slowly ebbs water into your wetsuit. And once it ebbs it in, you actually don't notice it too much. It then heats it about a mill's worth of barrier. So 1mm or even 0.5mm between the neoprene and your skin. The water sits in between and it heats up and it keeps you nice and warm when you're in the water. So no problem at all.
I think that's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. So what is joyous about your job? What do you like about your job?
Well, there's so many things. I can have things in my head that I've been thinking about, and if I jump in the sea, personally, when I go for a surf, this is what I'm saying, I can jump in the sea and forget about everything. You get the feeling of being in the wave, it suddenly turns into silence. It's the solitude of it, but when you've got friends out surfing as well, you still can speak to them when you're out there, then go and take a wave, and you're into that solitude, enjoyment of the power of the ocean pushing you in, and it's tremendous fun. And then when you're teaching, it's seeing the actual response from someone getting their first wave. It's a cliche only a surfer knows, and it's only a surfer knows the feeling of a wave taking you. It's quite incredible. But yeah, it's when you see that person catch it for the first time, they suddenly realize this is brilliant. So I get enjoyment from that, and seeing people progress and learning to get better and better. And recently surfing now with people I taught from the very beginning, they're now surfing with me out in the big waves, which I love. That's great. So there's been great progression. So
that's amazing. What are the struggles about your job?
Environmentally challenging sometimes. So when I say environmentally challenging, when there's no waves, that can be hard. So you can't get people in the water for a surf. But certainly I've done children's camps, group camps, where we've done, instead of just being surfing, they've also been doing beach safety, water skills, rescues, recovery positions, understanding how the ocean works, understanding how you can self-save in the water, how you can keep an eye on someone in the water, basically safety procedures for being down in the beachfront, and what you should be looking out for, and what things that people don't actually lift their head up to see. So they've got dolphins jumping out in the background that people just avoid all the time.
That's a shame. There's your dog as well. Yeah. I think it's really important just to mention the fact that, if you're going to go in the sea, you need to be with an instructor, that you can't just go wandering, surfing in the sea. That's not a safe thing to do if it's not, especially if you're younger and if you're not prepared. So if you just want to give kids that are watching this a bit of a safety message about that, that'd be helpful, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I actually, bizarrely, when you talk about safety in the sea, I ended up doing a rescue on Friday for another surfer. So it is one of those places that you have to be fully aware of going into. Things can be rips. There can be things called rips in the sea. So a rip is it can be frightening, and it also, as a surfer, we can use it. So a rip can take us out the back, which is going past the waves.
Yeah.
And the ocean does it for us. But if you're caught in the rip as an individual, if you get sucked out, yes, it could be hugely scary. So one way to overcome that is to paddle to the side of it, paddle on an angle, don't paddle directly to the flow of the current of the water. So that's one thing to do. Don't panic is another thing to do as well. We've got international distress signals that we use. So a single clenched fist up to the sky, that means please help me, I'm in trouble. It used to be waving. And what did everyone else do back on the beachfront? All wave. Do you think you're having good fun? So stop that one. But yeah, there's things you can do from the side if you see someone in the water. One of the best things you can do is you can point at the person in the water and keep your eyes on that person in the water while still pointing, but shout for help round about you. So a lot of people look at the person in the water, then turn around and look and run for help, and then take their eyes off the individual, and then they can look back again, they're not there. So and that could be either because the waves have moved them down a few hundred yards, or they've gone out to sea, or they've unfortunately gone under the water. So by visually keeping your eyes on the person in the water and pointing at exactly the same place, but shouting for someone to come and help you, don't take your eyes off that person. You tell the person next to you, I want you to phone such and such, 999 obviously, get the Coast Guard, get the police involved. And it means you can always identify where that person was, where the last sighting was of that person. It makes it so much easier. Okay. So there's small things to look out for. And yeah, the other ones, you see a lot of people at the moment doing wild swimming, which is brilliant. So nice to see. It's so good for mental health, so good for your brain and certain things to prevent in the future. But they've been practicing wild swimming, as in they don't just suddenly go in their trunks and jump into the sea and think, oh yeah, it'll be absolutely fine, no problem at all. They've built up to being able to do that. So it's not, I think a lot of people can see it and think, I'll go and jump in and try that out on my own. Best to do it with a group and start with warmer conditions or with a wetsuit. I've got a friend who will always swim 1 kilometre a day in his swimming trunks every single day at the moment still, yes. And the water temperature is 5 degrees centigrade. So when he can get that coldness, but when he gets out, it gets colder and colder, so he has to warm up accordingly. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And I think the message is, always do it with caution, do it with people that know what they're doing, and don't randomly just go jumping in the sea thinking you can surf or wet, kind of cold water swim. You need to make sure and tell somebody what you're doing and where you are as well.
Yes.
How did you get to own a surf school?
It was a what if I've always had in my mind. I used to windsurf, and surfers now call windsurfers blowboarding. So, and
is that?
Yes, exactly. We know bodyboarders in the water as speed bumps. You just go over the top of it. It's a hierarchy in surfing and in the water sports. It seems to always be, there's always competition, which is good. But no, I was a windsurfer until I was 18. I then broke all my equipment one day when I was out windsurfing, and a friend turned up with a surfboard. He gave me a shot. I stood up for the first time, and that was that. So I was then lecturing at university for 12 years, and I really enjoyed the actual communication or speaking, the contact with students. And I've always had this idea in my head. As a part-time job, I would work with a local surf shop and take lessons at the weekend. And he's always said to me, why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? And I've always thought, why don't I do this? And eventually I had a moment on one of my brand new boards. It's a long board, so everyone was saying to me on one of my birthdays I was getting old, because I normally surf short boards. And when you get older, you start to get more relaxed. So you start surfing longer and longer boards. So I surfed a longboard. My first wave, I turned around and said, I think I'm going to start a surf school. And that was that. So that was 2017 in May. I did that. So that's 2021 now. So it's still going. So all good.
Yeah, and it's brilliant. And you see your surfing school out there, and it's all looks great, safely run, and and I hope more people have got the opportunity to kind of attend your school over the next coming months. Yeah. If you were going to give anybody watching this video some advice, what would it be?
Don't stop dreaming. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things that if you've got an idea and you're really passionate about it, it can go from a working job that you've been doing to then going and chasing your dream. It doesn't turn into work anymore. It's something that's quite enjoyable, and it's your life. So don't stop dreaming, without a doubt. and ask questions, get experience, go around and try many things. It's certainly worthwhile getting life experience, and it gives you a robust CV, if you like, or something more that you can do. It's just the experience of other things that lets you know if you like things, if you don't like things. But yeah, don't stop dreaming. It's definitely one of the things I've done, I still do.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. And I think we've spoken before on these videos is that learning is a lifelong job. So it's all about asking questions, learning, and, you know, kind of moving forward all the time. Last question.
Yes.
If you had a magic wand, what would you change?
At the moment, probably just this bit of wallpaper that's...
just move your head that way.
Here we are. I'll explain, I bought a house that's needing a full renovation, so it's yeah, my office looks interesting at the moment. A magic wand, what would I change? That's a tough question. What would I change? I would change, I suppose, the environmental impact we've had as humans on what's happened to the planet, and I hope we're slowly realizing that, because it's hugely important that we look after our environment, without a doubt. And the things you see in the water, I'm forever taking things out of the water, which I don't like doing, but it has to happen. We have to clean the oceans. But if I had a wand, yeah, I would change our environmental impact that we've had.
That's an amazing answer, actually. And I think if we can all pick up bits of litter and stuff and dispose of it properly, I think everybody can do their part. And I know a lot of people that watch these videos are already doing that. So that's great. Listen, fantastic. Just remember that, you know, Campbell is an experienced, qualified surf instructor. So if you need any advice, go to him. Please don't be jumping in waters, any waters, whether it be the sea or lakes or lochs, or without telling somebody where you are. Be careful. Remember that the sea can be fun, but it can also be dangerous. So do it mindfully. But on that note, I want to say thank you so much, and I hope to see you down the beachfront. I'll come and say hello now. Actually,
great, definitely do, for sure.
Perfect. I may maybe. I don't want to commit 100%. I'm 30% in at the minute. That's all I've got. Right. Thank you so much, Campbell. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.